Hi, this is John and Andy with Car Repairs Made Easy. Today we're working on a 2008 Dodge Durango and we're going to do a transmission fluid change with a pan gasket and filters. We're going to get underneath the vehicle and we'll show you how to do that. Alright, we're under the car now and we're going to take the bolts out. This is your transmission pan here. What I like to do is start at the back and start pulling the bolts out. They're 8mm bolts. I'm using power tools. You can do this by hand. And you'll notice as you start loosening around, it'll start dripping. And we actually have a transmission funnel which goes onto our drain pan, and it will cover the span of the pan itself so we don't make a mess. If you don't have that, you can do this, but you may drip a little bit on the floor. These are little tiny 8mm bolts. This vehicle has about 75,000 miles on it. According to the manufacturer, it's actually not due to be done, but the customer does a lot of mountain driving and decided that he wanted it changed anyway. Let's get this over here. It's already starting to drip on this side just a little bit. Now these front ones you're just going to loosen a little bit, and that's enough to let the pan tip down in the back. Okay, we have a small drip here. I'm going to have to grab a screwdriver.
Okay, we found out that this pan was siliconed on. So what we did is we just took our rubber mallet and tapped on the side of the pan a little bit to break it loose. And as you can see, the fluid's draining. So now now that it's loosened up a little bit, he's going to pry it out and make a big mess.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Alright. Sorry about that.
Well, this happens when you're doing transmission pans sometimes. Now we got fluid everywhere, but we'll clean that up. I was going to finish taking the pan the rest of the way off. Take the last couple bolts out. As you can see, this can be pretty messy. That's why you want to have a bunch of rags laying around, maybe some oil dry. And we'll see if we can get in there. Right there's the filter there that we're going to change.
Looks like there's a gasket up there and they silicone the pan side. Okay, we're going to get cleaned up.
Actually, what I'll do now is I'll pull the
filter down, and then I'll show you guys a new filter and how to install that. This one has a bolt on it here. And it's a Torx, so I gotta go get a tool and I'll be back.
Alright, in the meantime I'll show you, especially since this one had silicone on it, you want to make sure you clean this sealing surface really well. You want to wipe it down good anyway, but this one you gotta look and make sure you don't have any silicone left on there. If it's siliconed on, that could cause a leak if you don't get all that off. he's grabbing another socket. I'm going to pan out and show you the big mess they got made. You can see all the, maybe you can see all the fluid there on the floor. Pretty good sized mess, but we had our pan there, so we caught most of it. It's everywhere, so we're going to have a lot of cleaning up to do. So sometimes if you're going to do this, it's good to have oil dry or oil absorbent, floor dry, whatever you want to call it. Looks like we're going to have to get some of that.
So Torx 25, and then you can pop it out of the pump there.
Before you reassemble it, just wipe everything down, make sure it's clean. Don't spray brake cleaner up in there. Just wipe it down real good with a lint-free rag.
So we got a little bit of scraping to do to get the silicone off of the pan itself, and then we will be right back. Okay, took about 30 minutes to 40 minutes to clean the pan. It had silicone all over it, and we had to scrape all that off and get it clean for our new gasket. This did not have a reusable gasket on it. So now that we're ready, this is our new filter. We're going to put it up in there in the new seal. And then remember, we had our bolt right here. That's a T25 that was holding the back side of it in the transmission. So I'm going to hand thread that in. And it just needs to be snug, just so it doesn't come out. Okay, now right here, there's a spin-on filter on this transmission. And it's actually pretty nice because this filter that you see in a lot of transmissions, this is pretty much just a pickup screen, and it doesn't have the micron filtering like a normal oil filter or a spin-on filter. So now we're going to twist this filter off. And it's going to drain kind of just like an oil filter. But if you're under here, you might as well do them both. The spin-on filter was like $14, AutoZone O'Reilly. And the transmission filter kit with the gasket was about $26. Alright, now it's almost done dripping. I'm going to spin it all the way off. And you can see it almost looks just like an oil filter that would go in your car, on your engine. Okay, so we're done with that guy. I'm going to take my glove off so I can grip the new one. Okay, the new one here, it has a gasket, just like on your oil filter. So you want to get some fluid, and we're going to lube that, because we don't want it to roll when we spin it on. See how it's nice and wet? Now we're going to go back up into the hole. We're going to spin this one on. Hand tight is sufficient, just like on your engine. We're going to get this pan pushed out of the way a little bit. And this is our pan. We have the new gasket on, and we have some anaerobic sealer on both sides of the gasket, and that will keep it from leaking if there's any imperfections in this rubber gasket they gave us. So I'm going to take my extension with my 8. We're going to stick our pan up there. Start a couple bolts by hand. Now when we get these 15 bolts hand tight. We'll come right back and I'll show you how tight they need to be.
Okay, now we're on the last bolt, tightening it down by hand. Now we're going to grab our ratchet and John's going to snug these things down and get them tight.
Always use one hand, get it snug, and then about 1/8 of a turn. Don't want to over tighten these. A lot of it's by feel, but you'll feel when it bottoms out, and then you're going to go just 1/8 past that. That's it.
Alright, that's the last one. So what we're going to do now is, as you can see, we had a big mess. You can see everything looks wet. That's the transmission fluid that we spilled everywhere. We're going to spray this thing down really good. Then lower this thing off the jack stands. And then we're going to be ready to fill it up, check the fluid, send it on its way.